When'd you move? Was it in the past year? Or have you been
October.
up here for a minute? Oh shit! So you're fresh. You just got up here.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! All right.
I've been here long at all.
Love hearing that. All right, let me know when we're good, sweet boy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the In the Round podcast. It's your boy Matt Burrill here, and today we've got a very special guest coming off the high of another national championship in Athens, Georgia. A new face here in Nashville, Tennessee, who's making some big waves and got a huge 2023 plan. It's my boy Logan Crosby. Logan, how you doing, brother?
What's up? I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Dude, we're doing good here, man. So you just got here in October?
October 1st, moved in.
Damn, see, I was October 2018, and October's a fun time to move here because it's like when things are starting to slow down as far as the bachelorette parties and all that stuff, so you get more of that local flavor. It's still kind of warm. It's not this 20 degrees one day, tornado warning, then 60 degrees today kind of shit where we're wearing short sleeve shirts, and the other night we were wearing jackets and shit. But how you liking it so far being up here?
I love it. It's great. So it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I moved in October 1st and broke in my apartment and went out and, did some stuff I probably shouldn't have done.
Okay. Now, where in town are you living at? Because there's like a danger. Like if you're living in certain parts of town, you're within walking distance of those bars. That first week can be rough.
I know. I'm in like Belmont Hillsborough neighborhood, so I'm like a 5-minute Uber drive to Midtown. So I had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
so,
I'm sure, man. You get to know Red Door and Losers real well. Live Oak Tin Roof, which people forget that it's the original tin roof that's here in Nashville. Yep. So people are like, oh, it's just another tin roof. They got one of those in everywhere, but it's like Tin Roof on Demumbrian hits different.
Oh yeah, I mean, but we were at, I think it was Doghouse. And went and watched the Georgia-Missouri game and we about choked, so probably took too many shots of tequila, and I don't drink tequila, so we broke in the apartment bathroom real well that night. So it was.
Dude, it happens, man. Now, how old are you?
I'm 22.
You're 22. Okay, so you're Georgia alumni. Go Dogs. What exactly like prompted the move for coming up here? Was it just like, hey, I'm a Georgia guy. There's a shit ton of other Georgia guys and girls up here. Let's make this move up, like all my friends have. Or was it wanting to do the country music thing or wanting something different?
Yeah, it was wanting to do the country music stuff. I originally went to Georgia and majored in political science. Thought I wanted to go to law school.
Oh,
then I figured out real quick that I was not going to be a good law school student, and I had always wanted to do music, and stuff was starting to happen. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and move up, and so that's why we did. But yeah, I mean, wasn't going to go to law school. I figured out real quick that was not my path in life.
Dude, I would have been. I feel like law school stuff. See, I was a communications major. I took the easy way out. I was like doing radio stuff, and like my classes were like not the law school route. Now, would you have stayed at Georgia to do that, or were you looking at bouncing around?
Well,
or did you not even get that far into it?
About to say, looking at my practice LSAT scores, I think I would have went to like a night law school, and which would have been fine. But yeah, I actually minored in communications.
Okay,
I literally took so many public speaking classes because I love to talk. My advisor's like, hey, you need one more, and you can get a minor. I'm like, well, why not? Let's just do it. So I did that, but yeah, no, I was not going to do law school, but it was a dream at one point, but figured out that
the public speaking stuff's got to help you a lot now, doing this artist thing and having the growth on social media, which as a young artist, the tools that we have now to grow on TikTok, Instagram, hell, even Snapchat, all those tools that they didn't have back in the day, to where you don't necessarily need to have music out for people to hear your voice and be like, I like what this guy's doing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got started, when I started posting on social media, it was literally me in a bedroom in my college apartment, and my phone was propped up against a windowsill, and I was just playing covers and talking to people, and things started happening. And so, I mean,
what were some of those first covers you were doing?
Oh gosh, let's say, "What Are You Listening To" by Chris Stapleton.
That's not an easy song. You went for it.
Oh yeah, I was like, if we're gonna do it, let's do it. And so that one, and like Lady May, and people would request stuff, and if I knew it, I'd play it. And then it was, as soon as I, kind of started getting some followers, I went down to Guitar Center in Athens and bought speakers and mics and just started playing, and that's kind of when I started
doing party circuit?
A couple sorority and fraternity events, couple just bars and whatnot, and just kind of started playing and had a blast doing it. And so I was like, you know what, let's just do it. So that's what we're doing.
Hell yeah! Now, where in Georgia? I'm guessing from your accent. You're not. I'm from New York. I talk fast. I'm a damn Yankee. You from Georgia originally?
From Georgia, from Milledgeville.
You're from Milledgeville.
Milledgeville.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Looking
so-
at McElwain.
About to say-
Milledgeville is a wild,
It is something
wild
else.
place. We had a night there that will live in infamy for our touring days, where we had us a wild night at Ned Kelly's, and understand why Milledgeville has the reputation that it has.
Oh yeah, growing up in Milledgeville was fun, and it was cool with somebody that loved music and always aspired to do it, because you never knew who was coming through Milledgeville. All kinds of people did, and so growing up, and probably snuck into that time it was Capital City.
Yeah.
Probably snuck in there a couple times.
A historic venue. You can't talk about country music in the last 15 years without talking about Capital City and now Ned Kelly's and Rocky and the crew that's been through there, from it being the first spot of Brantley and Colt Ford singing Dirt Road Anthem to a young cover band drunk Luke Bryan coming through, to Al Dean coming through. You can't talk about country music without talking about Milledgeville, Georgia.
It's a great place, and growing up there, it was just, like I said, you'd just be walking down the street and you'd see a poster and it's like, oh shit, Brantley Gilbert's coming to town.
Yeah, we went to I think it was there's a music store right across from, it's a music store, an antique store. There's all kinds of interesting little shops.
Yeah, right across, there used to be a music store right across the street from Ned Kelly's, and then it's closed now. But there's a card shop. A guy sells baseball cards.
So it's old school.
Oh yeah. So it's something else.
How many people you graduated high school with?
Well, I went to a private school in Milledgeville, so I graduated with 42 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's about what McElwain graduated with. He's from Selma, Alabama, which they're small. That's small town stuff too. What's it like graduating with 40? So everybody. What's it like being in a thing that small?
It was a K through 12 school. So, I literally went to, I went to, daycare with half these people. There's pictures of us in diapers running around when we were 3 years old, and then we graduated high school together. But it was cool. It was fun. We literally, I feel like we were family. Because we kind of were, and we knew everybody's mom and dad, and everybody knew everybody's business, so it was cool. But it was a lot of I was the one person in my high school that sang and whatnot, so that was cool, because there were a lot of people that were like, oh, he's the only one, so let's listen to him sing. So that was cool.
Singing in church?
Yeah, I started singing in church. I think a lot of people that grew up in the South sing in church. My grandma didn't give me a choice when I went and stayed with her, and so it was a damn choir, and there were 20 people in the church, 18 were in the choir, and then it was the pastor. I'm like, who are we singing to? Why don't we all just sit down and sing, But, yeah, that's where I started, and then it was kind of as I started to get older, and in high school I learned to play guitar, and then would just play at parties and whatnot. And then
playing to get the girls,
and then went to college, and that was my party trick for sure in college.
Oh, dude, in Athens, Georgia, I've been to all the SEC towns, and some are more of my favorites than others, and Athens is up high on the list because of just the environment that you're in. And if you're looking to have a music career, there's so many opportunities for you to get out and play, and such a supportive community of alumni base and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I played a sorority event at Georgia Theater. That was my first time I'd ever really.
They do Greek life events just at Georgia Theater? Mm-hmm. They just rent that shit out?
Renting it out. And so they were like, we need you to come play 2 songs. I'm like, I will be there. So it was coolest thing ever. And then, a lot of girls there, obviously, but it was fun. And then I played at General's and just all kinds of bars in Athens.
So you talk about girls from UGA and sororities. You got a tour coming up with a good friend of our show. She's been a guest on here before. A good friend who's just skyrocketed, Miss Meg Moroney. Were you at school in UGA around the same time that she was, or how did you and Megan kind of link up?
No, so I actually went to Kennesaw State my first year, and then we all got sent home for COVID. And so she left, I think she graduated in May, and then I moved up there in July, at the end of July. So we kind of missed each other. But at that time, there really wasn't a country music scene in Athens. It's really grown, over the past 2 years. And there were a lot of people that were like, well, there's this girl, she graduated, she lives in Nashville, she's writing songs and singing, you should reach out. And then she had posted and teased hair salon.
Yeah.
And then I covered it on TikTok. And then it got sent to her, and she reposted it. And then we kind of talked on social media. Then I met her during CMA Fest in 2022 for the first time.
Hell yeah.
And then I think it was like a month or so later, we went and got coffee and hung out. And
she's a real sweetheart, too.
oh, she's great. One of the funniest people.
Oh, dude, yeah.
One
she's
of the
a person.
funniest people.
People will just see this pretty face and hear this voice, but you have a conversation. You could be laughing your ass
Oh,
off.
I mean, we went to a coffee shop, and I mean, I think we were going to get coffee, and we both had stuff to do, and literally we talked and laughed with each other up until like we were like, okay, we have to leave now. Like we're about to be late to whatever we have to do. But she's awesome. I mean, I absolutely love her.
So you talk about going down to UGA like after COVID. I mean, there's all these blessings that came after the world shutting down. Like during that period, like a lot of the friends that I have now are guys and girls that found a way to kind of adapt and found their path during that time when the world was shut down. So for you, 2020, you leave Kennesaw, head up the road to Athens. Pretty wild to think about, isn't it?
It is. I mean, and that's kind of when I started, everybody was on their phone. So that's when I kind of started posting videos and doing stuff on TikTok and social media and whatnot. And that's kind of when stuff started happening a little bit, when it comes to like people, oh, this kid can sing, and, people were following me and whatnot. And so it was cool. It was being in Athens during the pandemic was really weird because, I mean, it was like the bars would open at 8:30. And they'd close at 11:30.
Yeah,
that's how it was.
That's how it kind of was here. Well, the bars here would open at like 10 a.m. because it's a drinking town with a music problem.
Right.
But we we would used to get together and do bonfires at people's houses because rounds would have to end at like 10 o'clock.
Right.
And then we'd go and kick it somewhere. And that is an odd time to be going to one of the biggest college towns in the country.
Oh yeah, I mean it was like. The football stadium was half capacity. It was just, but that's when I started like pulling out guitars and playing, because we'd all have house parties.
Yeah.
And then we'd be like, well, let's go get your guitar and play. And then I did. And then that's when I started writing a little bit was 2020. And then I'd play people, original songs. And it was something else, but it was a weird time. I can tell you that confidently.
Yeah, same here, man. So now being up in Nashville, have there been any surprises for you? Has there been anything that's kind of caught you being like, I didn't know it was going to be like this up here? Besides the bars just being the bars. I mean, you're a bar veteran going to school in Athens, but you come up here, Nashville's a different kind of animal. Like meeting people, things like that, co-writing. Like what's it kind of been like being a new kid here in town?
It's been fun. I mean, everybody's been super supportive. I mean, which has been great. Because as a young guy coming in, because when I moved up here, I was 21 still, and then when I started coming up here, I was 20. So I was thinking, well, nobody's going to listen to what I have to say or my songs or whatever because I'm so young. But everybody has been super supportive, which has been great, and I've loved that. I mean, it is all the Georgia guys that are up here. I mean,
you guys are one big fucking fraternity, guys and girls. I mean, everybody is. If you're somebody from the state of Georgia, whether it's as far south as Valdosta and Statesboro or up near Rome, you're all together.
I mean, and it's awesome. So, and I mean, I had a lot of friends that I'd kind of like talked to and met through social media that were Georgia guys that lived up here. So that was cool, being able to call somebody and be like, hey, like, what do I need to do about this? Or I'm moving to town. What do you think about this? And that's been awesome, and a blessing in itself. But yeah, all of us Georgia folks, and a lot of people have called us the Georgia Mafia, which I'm like, hey, I guess I'll take it. But hey, that's what we are, I guess.
I mean, honestly, it is something. It is a big connection and like a big fraternity. Who are some of the guys and girls like from? Has there been anyone like as far as like co-writing and getting to know folks here in town? Who have been some of the guys that have kind of welcomed you with open arms?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's a Georgia boy, Nate Kenyon.
Oh, dude, I know Nate.
Yeah.
Hey, my first time seeing Nate Kenyon, it's funny you talk about mafia. This involves a biker gang up in New York. So you talk about wild
I'm not surprised about anything you just said.
So when I was living up in New York, there's a place called Poughkeepsie, New York. It's actually where Snooki from the Jersey Shore is from. Shout out Snooki. Hope you're still doing well. But anyway, I went up. I was working in like the local country scene up there, and the Lax were on tour. Nate was on tour with the Lax. It was back when he had Dirt Road Dollars.
Yep.
And this is back 2016, maybe 2017. And I met Nate that night when he opened up for Snap. And I forget what the other guy's name. I think it's Troy. But I remember after that show, that club. So you see it a lot. You'll see it a lot going on the road now and playing places around the Southeast. You guys definitely have them down here. But we're places where there's not security, where it's like it's a bar that is watched over by a certain club or a group of folks that are locals, that are regulars at the club. So this place was a regular spot for the Hells Angels chapter of New York. Which I didn't even know we had a Hells Angels chapter. I was like, oh, look at that. Go team. But after the show, something happened, something or other. And I saw some stuff. But that was the first time I met Nate Kenyon. And then meeting him here in town, man, he's a guy that's been through the ringer of being in town, coming in young, having success, having some ups and downs. A good guy for you to meet and look up to, man. That's awesome to hear. He co-wrote with you on one of your releases too, right?
If you ask me. And then we've actually written some other stuff that I'm going to end up cutting this year and putting out together. Sweet. He's awesome. He's one of the nicest guys, and he's great. He's kind of like a big brother. He's seriously like my Nashville big brother. He's
important.
Awesome.
That's important to have, dude. Yeah. You need to have that because people get caught up and there is a lot of like clickiness to now. It's like you find your crew or whatever, but then you're meeting other people, which is part of the other thing too. Like what I enjoy about doing the writers rounds that I get to host, because I'm not a singer or a songwriter. I don't know how to pick a guitar or do any of that. I know how to talk my way through a lot of situations, whatever. But getting to introduce people through doing the rounds and stuff, and you get to meet people, right, hanging out at Live Oak and Tin Roof and all those places. So I'm excited to have you playing tonight, man. Have you done the round thing yet? Or?
Yeah, I've done a couple up here, and I'm excited. I've got some. I hadn't done one in a while, so I've got some new stuff.
First one of the year?
First one of the year.
Let's go.
So it's going to be fun. Strong. I can't wait for it.
Hell yeah, dude. Now, for you as a guy who's come up big with like the TikTok stuff, do you think you figured out the algorithm? Because I have friends that are big on that do the TikTok thing, and like I kind of got them the word like part of to where they're at. They use it as like a rocket ship. And now it's like recently, it's like some videos it's almost like you're blacklisted, or there's like they put like a little lock on something. It's weird how all that shit works, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's truly unpredictable because you can post a video. You know, a lot of my stuff that we found out with my algorithm is I like to talk. I like to tell stories and joke around on TikTok, which is great. And those videos usually, get great views. And then I put one of like a cover, me playing a guitar in a song that I wrote, and it doesn't do as well. So we're still trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? How do you? And
then it might do well on TikTok. So then you're like, all right, let's go to YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, or even Facebook Reels now. Meemaw and Papa on Facebook are sharing a lot of shit now, too.
I love Facebook. I'm a huge fan of Facebook. Still on Facebook.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I love Facebook.
Is that the political guy in you, or is that just sports guy in you, or what is it about Facebook?
I think it's just, being from the middle of nowhere, Georgia, people just put the craziest things on Facebook. I mean,
I see McElwain smiling over there. Sweet boy, you got any wild Facebook stories? Because I know he checks it too.
That's how I keep up with all my Selma folks.
That's probably how you keep up with all your Milledgeville folks.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the stuff that people put on Facebook.
They hadn't got into the Instagram and TikTok, so if you want to know anything that's going on in your hometown, go to Facebook.
We have in Milledgeville. There's I guess it's a group. It's called Milledgeville Roadblocks. And it's just, basically it was started of like, these people would say, okay, this is where the cops are sitting today. There's a wreck, in this part of town. So I'm still in it. And I was back home. It was in the summer. And this lady put on there a hand grenade just went off on Youngblood Avenue.
What?
And somebody had a hand grenade in Milledgeville, which is the last thing that anybody in Milledgeville, Georgia needs is a hand grenade. Nobody needs one, but I'm just like, somebody's coming, yeah, my baby was riding a bike and we heard the hand grenade. And I'm just like, so that's why I stay on Facebook for the comedic relief.
The entertainment.
Oh, my God. I mean, and you get on there and people are sharing, stories. And it's just.
What does Milledgeville Facebook Marketplace look like? Because I feel like that's like the old co-op radio shows where it's like, hey, man, I'm looking for some 35 tires. I got 2 chickens. What can you do for me?
Whoever, I don't know how to say this in a nice way. It's probably as close as you can get to hell on earth, the Milledgeville Facebook Marketplace. Just some of the stuff you see on there. I'm like, what are you doing selling? It's like a T-shirt and it's got holes in it and it's lightly used. Yeah, I'm sure it is, Bob. Like nobody's buying this, brand new, sneakers got a hole in the sole of it, and it's just some of the stuff. And then people are just like, looking for blah blah blah. And I mean, you ain't gonna find that in Milledgeville, Georgia. I don't know what you're expecting here, and then you have all the college kids that get on there and try to, sublease stuff.
Yeah,
and it's just the biggest mess.
Yeah, the different colleges in Georgia, because everybody thinks, it's just UGA and Tech, but you get down there, and you guys have a lot of colleges that have very different partying scenes. What's the Milledgeville college scene like, especially growing up there, going to high school? Like, are you exposed to a lot of that stuff?
Oh,
or
yeah.
Do you see a lot of that? Or?
Yeah, because I actually did too. When I was in high school, I did dual enrollment. So I was in high school, and then I took
Get
classes.
them credits.
Oh, yes. I graduated college in 3 years, and that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
But it was just like, you're a junior in high school, and these kids are like, dude, come to our party. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. So it was cool. A lot of house parties. The baseball team has a house that they live in, and I'm one of my best friends from high school plays baseball there now. And so like you have the baseball house, and they have parties, and there's really only 2 bars really. You've got Capitol or Ned Kelly's, and then you have the Brick, and you have Velvet Elvis.
Velvet Elvis.
Velvet Elvis.
What is Velvet Elvis like? I'm intrigued.
Velvet Elvis is actually the first place I ever played a show.
Really?
Yeah, and it was awesome. But it's a restaurant, and then it turns into a bar at like 10
As far as
o'clock.
restaurant, are we talking like pork rinds? Or
You're
we
talking like
what
bar
level?
food, like bar food. But on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they run the special. You can get a steak.
A steak or a hamburger steak?
No, a steak.
So I had a hamburger steak for the first time this weekend when I was in Alabama.
You've
You
never
ever
had
one?
hamburger steak?
No, we either eat hamburgers or we eat steaks. Or the chicken fried steaks that you got.
Fried steak.
When you fry your steak like a chicken.
We fry everything in the South. I'm sure you've learned
What's
that.
the weirdest thing you've eaten fried? If you had like the stick of butter on, like the butter on the stick?
Fried, we've done fried frog legs. We've done fried. You can fry anything.
I guess you can, yeah.
Yeah, now that you're saying that, shit, I may go try to fry some stuff when I get home. Find something to fry. Give me a damn fried Oreos. Have you ever had a fried Oreo?
I had a fried Oreo the other
Great.
day at Hopsmith. I was watching the Giants game the other day.
You're a Giants fan, right?
Yeah, I got very animated. I was nervous I wasn't going to have a voice coming out of that game on Sunday, but I was yelling, and it was bad, dude. Are you a big sports guy? Like, do you get animated for the games?
I don't watch a ton of NFL.
Well, I'm just saying in general. Like on Saturday, if you were saying that dogs when you were that first weekend you moved up here to that Mizzou game, you get nervous, you get a little animated.
Oh, good God, yeah.
So listen to this. And I was with my friends Rod, Aaron, and Sierra, and this guy Michael, and I told him I'd talk about this on the next podcast episode that I did, which is with you. And have you been to Hopsmith yet?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So we were in Hopsmith. I've never really been in there in my 4 years there. Nicer kind of place.
Yeah.
Good food.
Great food.
Huge dessert menu. Tons of booze. Recommend Hopsmith if you're coming here to Nashville. But we were at like that. They had that back table with the TV right there, and nobody else in there is watching the Giants game. There's a Giants like fan bar, some like Irish pub somewhere. But they were like, "We're going to Hopsmith. We always go to Hopsmith." Okay, fuck it, I'll go to Hopsmith. So got back from Birmingham, drove from Hermitage over there, got there right at kickoff. Within like the first few minutes, like things are going good. Then some more of their friends come. I meet them, talking to them, whatever. It's these 2 girls, this guy from Arizona, just moved here. And I have a cup, everybody's got their drinks on there. Saquon Barkley scores that first touchdown. I high five Rod, hug him, like, let's go, let's fucking go, we got this, let's go, pay the man, whatever. I'm by the table. I just go up there, put my hand up, hand goes up, boom, on the table. None of the other drinks spill, but this one girl's water spills all over her lap. And I'm like, oh man, I'm just in here causing a scene.
Hey, at least it was water.
That's what I'm
not
saying.
that it's.
I was like, hey, like I would have totally bought her another drink, but I'm like, these people just moved to Nashville. This is like their second week here. They're at Hopsmith trying to meet people. The guy plays on Broadway. He's like, man, I love your podcast. I love you around. It's like his girl. And I'm like, fuck, like I just meet these people. And you ever find yourself getting like really like worked up over a Dogs game? Or do you tend to watch them?
Yeah.
Or do you tend to watch them with other Dogs fans to where it's not like out of the ordinary?
Oh no, we watch them all together, which is great. But we all get animated, which is so we were watching. I guess it was the game against Ohio State.
Oh, dude, we were in Columbus, Ohio for that game. We were playing a New Year's Eve show in Ohio, and they had that game on, like, so the guys were playing, they had that game on a projector, like, on the wall.
How was that show after that? Was it fun?
So the game ended, as you know, like around midnight Eastern.
Yep.
So Ohio's on Eastern time, and we fucking, so I'm like, wait a second, it's about to be midnight. Trey, so I'm TM for Trey Lewis. Trey's about to play dick down in Dallas. Ohio State's lining up for this field goal. We might get Ohio State winning while we're in Columbus, Ohio, the ball dropping, and Trey playing dick down in Dallas at the same fucking time. Sure enough, kid botches the field goal.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, "Oh fuck!" Trey just screams out, "He's Alabama." He's like, "Man, fuck the Georgia Bulldogs!" And the whole place is like, "Yeah!" And then the night was saved and whatever.
That's good.
But what a game! And did you expect them to whoop TCU like they
No,
did
hell
after
no.
after the game that Michigan and TCU had? That game could have gone either way. Same with the OSU Georgia game; it could have gone either way.
Yeah, I mean, because the whole week leading up to the Georgia Ohio State game, everybody's like, "Oh, we're gonna beat the hell out of them," and I'm like, "Oh, look, we may not.
We've seen the Ohio State before."
About to say, and somehow we pulled it off. But we were at a New Year's Eve party down in the middle of nowhere, in Lumpkin, Georgia.
Lumpkin, Georgia.
Anybody that can find that on a map, I'll give you. $6 or something. But anyways,
enough to get 2 beers in
right,
Lumpkin, Georgia.
Exactly. Probably 3 in Lumpkin, Georgia. But anyway, but that's beside the point. But so I mean, it's midnight. I mean, literally, he kicked the ball at the stroke of midnight. And then he missed it, and it was probably like 40 people packed in this house, and we all just lost our shit. I mean, we're watching at this family's house. You got damn family pictures flying across the room. Somebody's damn Meemaw's urns falling off the damn counter. You're knocking over couches. I mean, we're screaming. People are throwing damn bottles of Crown at each other.
Yeah.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then the whole week leading up to TCU, I'm like, oh, God, it's going to be something. And then it was something for about 5 minutes.
And then Stetson Bennett knocks off all the haters, anybody that's ever. And I'm one of those guys that was like, I don't know about this. I used to because I have a lot of buddies. If you live in Nashville, you have friends that are Georgia fans. That's just how it is. So I'm good buddies like Matt McKinney, Nick Haynes, a lot of my Georgia buddies, and I would always talk shit about Stetson Bennett a little bit. But he broke the record. He can't say. I mean, he's up there with Matthew Stafford and any other Aaron Murray, any other Georgia quarterback of all time.
He will be regarded as one of the top. I think one of the top ball players to come through Georgia. I mean, maybe it's his size and stature or whatnot. Maybe there's other people.
You
but
can
you
be
can't
a great
tell.
college player, like up in the top college players of all time, and not be shit in the end. It doesn't matter if what you do in the NFL because you had your time in college.
Kirby Smart. I mean,
dude,
he's
one of the best.
I think. I mean, I love Vince Dooley, but God rest his soul. But I think Kirby is
back to back after all the waiting that you guys had to go through, all the years of losing to Bama or losing to Florida and getting so close.
It's getting so close.
And now to see now for you to be a 22-year-old and have seen a Braves championship and two Dogs titles, you're spoiled as a Georgia kid.
The Braves won in what, 96, something like that?
95.
95.
Yankees beat the Braves in 96.
There we go. I wasn't born, so I have no idea what the hell was going on. My parents got married in 96. So,
wow.
But, yeah, I mean, to see that all happen within a couple months is crazy. But it's a great time to be a Georgia sports fan, especially after the Falcons choked in what was that 2015 or something against the Patriots. Like Jesus Christ! So
bad.
we waited, and then that's what we got. So.
Yeah. So for this year, what are some big goals for you now? You're about to have. You've only been in town for October. You've been in town for 2 months, 3 months.
3 months, yeah.
Been in town for 3 months. You really just got here, but it seems like you're getting your feet going. You got placed on a hell of a tour to start out. You've gone out. Have you done a lot of shows outside of Athens already? Like done some opening slots or been to a few places or what?
Not a ton. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of stuff that was because I started really playing in 2021, and then I mean it was just about every weekend, every other weekend, but it was just up and coming. So you'd go play a bar, and then the next weekend you'd be playing a private party. Then the next weekend you're playing at a wedding, all kinds of stuff. And then after the TV show, stuff I had to finish up school, and then the TV show came out, and then that's when everything kind of started happening. We put the music out and moved up here, so it's done.
You cool talking about the TV show stuff? Because a lot of folks that I've had on that are friends that I've got that have done the TV stuff like to talk about what they're doing after and whatever. So what was that whole experience like? And which TV show?
It was called Claim to Fame on
to
ABC,
Fame.
And then it's on Hulu now. I mean. And I won't touch on it a ton, but because I feel like I've talked about it a lot on other podcasts. That's why I'm saying I like talking.
That's why I'm saying I like talking about other shit, being like, yo.
But I mean, any questions that you have, if anybody has questions, as long as I'm not, getting sued.
So I'm not even familiar to to the show or like anything. Like that's my thing is I've been seeing what you've been doing, like no connection to the show. I've been like, damn, this kid's killing it and doing the artist thing right now and about to have a big year, but claim to fame. What kind of show was it? Like what's it about?
Reality TV show.
What was a reality? Oh, they had you on a reality show?
12 people, all related to a celebrity locked in a house, and every episode somebody get eliminated. We had challenges. You had immunity. It was kind of like Survivor meets Big Brother meets Celebrity Family Feud, and you just shake it up in a bag and claim to fame fell out. So, and it's been awesome. It's been a blessing to be on that. But there are people like, it's funny kind of seeing some people have no idea I was on the show. They're like, we love the music.
Yeah, I love seeing the music and your personality and what you're doing. And
there's people that they're like, oh, well, you do music now? So it's kind of funny, because there's all kinds of different people that have, know me from different.
Where did they film that at?
We were in L.A., Hollywood Hills.
Was that your first? So you grew up in Milledgeville. So you go to college in Kennesaw and Athens. They put you on an airplane. Was that your first? That wasn't your first time on an airplane, was it?
No, but it was like my third. So it was in a 5-hour cross country flight, and I don't pee on airplanes.
So you're holding that?
Yes, it was terrible.
Yeah, I don't get up and pee on airplanes either. Now I come to think of it,
I get anxiety doing it. To be frank with you, I need like a Xanax before I can get out of my seat.
I'm a gummy bear if you catch my drift before the airplane and get all. I don't drink anymore. I'm California sober.
There we go.
That's what I do. McElwain's just very. He's we call him our DD, our drunk drummer. He's one of those kids where his BAC was higher than his GPA. Like
hey,
he gets after it.
There were days in college that shit.
Well, I'm saying
me and you both, Bob.
Yeah, we say that his blood. He just run Fireball and Miller Lite. What were your things in college? Were you a Jungle Juice guy, or I guess they called it Hunch Punch or whatever the hell they called it?
I never did the Hunch Punch because God only knows what was in that son of a bitch.
You talk about Xanax and shit. People are popping Percocets and dumb shit in there.
But I was a big vodka guy when I started.
We talking like Burnett's, like
we're talking like. There's one that comes in a plastic bottle that's capped in something. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like $4.99 to get at the liquor store in Kennesaw.
My whiskey in college was a thing called Fighting Cock. Fighting Cock. It was a horrible. I still have the bottle. I saved the bottle because I'm like, it's the last bottle I've ever drank. Like, a reminder, like don't want to get back into the alcoholism shit. But it was you get a liter for $16. It was 103 proof whiskey.
God.
I used to go through a bottle every day or two, bro. Shit was fucked.
Christ.
Shit was fucked.
I did. My whiskey was Henderson's.
I don't even know. I've never even heard
that was
of
like $7.99.
$7.99.
Yep. It was heinous.
Balling on a budget, bro.
Balling on a budget.
What were you eating in college? Because Athens has a lot of restaurants.
Well,
what's that pizza? It's like calzones or pizza or something.
We've got Athens. Little Italy, which is right downtown, and then
There's a place that you can just take calzone. Whatever the fuck you want, throw it in a calzone.
Eddie's Calzone.
That's what it was. I've eaten there.
That was shows. They would stay up until like 4:00 in the morning.
That's over by the Georgia Theater, right?
Yeah, like
it's in that section.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome because it was right there in the middle of the bars, and they were like, "We're open until 4." So stumbled in there multiple times.
Have you had a late night here in Midtown where you've ended up at Cookout?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
I don't go out a ton up here, to be honest with you. I try to stay in as much as I can, just because I think I got all the partying out of me when I was in Athens because. I think it was the last month and a half of my last semester. I went out every single day. Mondays, Tuesdays, because we had our spots. Like Mondays, these people do, half off pitchers. This place does shots, and
then you throw in gigs on top of that, which gigs weekends. Are real. Gigs are you getting paid to be out and play music,
right?
But then you're going out after.
And then it takes one gig that you just get up there and embarrass yourself, and then you're done. So I don't drink a whole lot when I play.
No reason to risk that.
Yeah,
shit.
And so, I think I got all the partying out of me when I was in Athens.
Have you done Broadway yet?
I've done Broadway one time, and it was. I don't even remember.
Where'd you end up?
I don't even remember where.
Remember where you started? You got to remember where you started.
Well, I started
Or was it one of those nights where you started Midtown and end up? Somebody's like, "Let's go to Broadway."
We started at the W Hotel. There was like a party.
Okay.
So we went there, and then we went to Midtown. Then we went to Broadway. Then we went back to Midtown. And then I'm like, okay, so I need to go home because if I don't, I'm going to embarrass myself in front of God and everybody.
Did you get the hangover anxiety? Like the day after drinking?
Oh, the anxiety?
The anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
So I have friends that still get that
yeah.
stuff.
That's one reason that I quit going out as much, and then, quit drinking as much on the whole is just because I'd wake up the next morning, I'm like, Jesus, what did I do? Because and even if you get towards the back end of the night and you're not even blackout, but you're tired and everybody's talking and everybody's drunk, and you're like, what did I say? Did I embarrass myself? What did I say to this
Luke
person?
Bryan's all my friends say.
So right, exactly, and you're just like, then somebody's like, my alter ego when I've had too much to drink is Larry, and so Larry. Got Larry and Logan. So somebody's like, well, you said last night, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you can talk to Larry about that. I don't know what Logan don't have any idea what you're talking about right now, dude. So, yeah, but Larry stays in most of the time now, which is good.
That is good, man. And it's important to have a wraps on that when you move to town, especially being as young as you are.
Oh, yeah.
There's I couldn't imagine coming right out of college. Because I moved when I was 23, so not much older than you are right now. But moving down to go from college right to here, you could have kept that partying going. So that takes a lot of. Do you think having the experience in LA and like having kind of that exposure to that next, like that outside of college, did that kind of help you kind of slow down a little bit?
That did, and then it was kind of one of those things that, like, moving to town, I'm like, okay, listen, I'm going to live by myself the first year I'm here. I'm going to get all my stuff together. I'm going to, grind it out, and then, I've been the most blessed person on this earth to get on Megan's tour and to have all the cool stuff that's happened to me so far that I've been in town. But I think for me, a lot of that's come from being focused, not going out all the time, not drinking as much. And so I think it was kind of one of those things that I'm like, okay, you're grown now. Like, you're out of college, you're off your parents' payroll. You got to grow the hell up. Yeah. And so you're going to quit drinking, you're going to quit acting like a college kid, and you're going to get serious. And I think that's been a big part of, why a lot of stuff's happened.
Dude, you're wise beyond your years, brother.
You get to do this whole life thing one time. And so I would hate, truly one of my biggest fears, and I like to say I don't have a ton of them, but one of my biggest fears is, being, 60, 70, if I make it that long, get that old and go, shit, if I just wouldn't have partied away my early 20s, or if I wouldn't have, acted like an idiot while I was 20 years old trying to make it, I could have done it. So that's kind of been my thing.
You said you don't have many fears. What's like an irrational one? I don't do heights very well.
Don't do heights.
Heights are a no-go for me.
Snakes and alligators are probably my two biggest fears. Truly, snakes.
That's one of Trey's is snakes. We got a toy. We got like a fake snake one time. We put it in his guitar case, and he got a nice jump. I've never seen that big man jump so far.
That's one of those things where you can pull just about any prank on me, like prank calls. Do something, that's fine. But if somebody pulls a prank with a snake on me, you're either gonna see me go to tears or something's gonna get thrown and broke. I don't do snakes well. I just don't do snakes. But that's really, I think that's kind of it. I'm sure that something may, trigger a memory up here. Then I'll go, okay, shit, I'm scared of that too. But no, snakes and alligators.
Yeah. So how many dates you got coming up with Megan? I know one just got announced today, going on sale in a few days. We'll have been on sale and we'll probably have been sold out by the time, God willing, be sold out by the time this podcast airs. You announced the one here in Nashville at the Exit Inn, which is legendary venue and a venue. You know the story of that place in the last few years?
I don't know all the stories,
so
but I've been told some.
It's a venue that's been here in Nashville forever. It's been usually an independent venue. Some promoters get in there and work with it, but it's been here forever. And during COVID, obviously, they couldn't do shows. And someone purchased the Exit, purchased it, and said that they were going to be knocking it down and turning it into, which I believe is what's going to be happening in the next year or two. So the fact that you guys are getting to do a show there at a historic Nashville venue that has kind of a time, a end date on it from the developers coming in, that's a big deal.
It was
for you guys to do that one. And then it's what, Athens?
We've got we're doing Chattanooga. We got Chattanooga, Statesboro, Gainesville. Then we got Nashville, Knoxville, Fayetteville. We have Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which I can't wait for that because one of the girls I was on Claim to Fame with, she lives down there.
Have you been to Hattiesburg before?
I've never been to Hattiesburg.
Okay, so we've and Sweet Boy can chime in here. We've been to every SEC town because before it was with Trev, I was out on the road with the Muscadine Bloodline guys. I've gotten a full tour of. any podunk town in Mississippi, Alabama. I didn't know about Lumpkin, Georgia, but now it's on my list to go
Well, there ain't
to.
nowhere to play down there unless you find the backyard.
I want to stop there and get corn nuggets and chicken gizzards and all that shit. But like hit the small town stuff. But Hattiesburg, Mississippi is a blast. Fayetteville, Arkansas, Georgia's Majestic is such a fun room. And you're going to get to see a lot of cool shit, man. I think what's going to blow your mind is you'll have folks singing back your songs to you, and you don't even need the radio stuff these days. Like, it's great to have the radio stuff, but the fact that you got your start putting songs out from your dorm room on the internet, doing covers and then writing some, it's going to be so cool for you to see all that shit, man.
I can't wait. We're excited, and Blue Room's definitely the date that's circled, for me.
Yeah. Have you played down there before?
Never played down there. It's funny because the last time I was down there, I was watching Parker McCollum play. It was, I guess, April of 2022. So it's going to be cool the next time I go down there.
My first show ever with Trey Lewis was at the Blue Room in Statesboro because they had a cover. They used to play down there once a month, right, Matt? Was it once a month you guys used to play their cover gigs?
About every 3 months.
They used to do cover gigs down there all the time, and it's, to me, I mean, from being there, Statesboro, Georgia just hits differently. There's things
totally
in Statesboro that I'll just leave it at this, or you can. There's things in Statesboro that can stay with you for a long time, so you got to be careful down there. It's a wild, wild time.
It is, but I cannot wait.
First show I ever went to. First time I've ever been to.
Hold on, this is my manager talking.
Which, by the way, shout out to Jay Kinney.
Shout out to Kinney.
You'll be able to see him. We'll put him in the GoPro footage.
Yeah, he's in the GoPro.
Oh, heck yeah.
First time I ever went to Blue Room, Trey was playing, and I met you at the merch booth.
Oh, no shit.
Really?
I was right after Dick Down and Out.
Damn.
That was the one. So my first time in Statesboro, Georgia, I should have died. Like we went in the wrong. So we were back then. We used to do the Airbnb thing, which is a great way to do the touring thing. Is if you're doing like back-to-back nights near each other, because we were Blue Room, and then we were at Burrill House in Savannah, and I was with Trey Bonner, who I don't know if you know Trey Bonner yet. He's cool, good dude. He does content stuff, marketing stuff for Trey Lewis. We have Tall Trey and Small Trey, both from Birmingham, Alabama, but one's 6'5", one's about 5'5". We get the address for this Airbnb, and we go to. When Bonner goes up, and in typical Trey Lewis fashion, the door's unlocked. So we're like, okay, door's unlocked. We're just going to go in. So we go in, put all of our stuff. I have a cigarette on the back porch. We're in there for a while. And then all of a sudden, like Trey Bonner calls our guitar player Terry and is FaceTiming him, like showing him the room, and he's like, "That's not the house." And there were people like in the Airbnb, so that's breaking and entering in Statesboro, Georgia. That's where old Yankee Doodle Dandy here could get a 45 to the face, and it's perfectly justified. But we survived. We quickly got it took us like 5 trips to get all of our shit up there.
But I bet you were running all 5 of
We got that shit out in one trip. Poor Bonner was just stumbling and bumbling.
Looking like when you go to the grocery store, just take all that shit up in one swoop. Good God.
Dude. It was a wild time. And then the shows, the Statesboro crowd, those kids just love music.
Oh, yeah.
Now, are you doing those acoustic? You doing those full band?
So the first run is going to be full band, and then everything else will be acoustic.
Okay. So do you have like a band together yet? Or you have guys from Georgia or from guys from up here? Or
there's some guys. So I played Whiskey Jam and needed a band, and I'm good friends with John Morgan's drummer.
Oh, hell
Rob.
yeah. Yep.
And so I called him. I'm like, hey, can you help me out? And he was like, well, we're going to be on the road, but here's some guys. And, these guys are great. Ben Glass, Derek Whiteside, who plays with Chapel Hart now.
Oh, sick.
And so, but we got some guys. Ben Glass is my dude. He's awesome. We've written together. He's a great guy.
And that's one of the perks. That's one of the good things about moving here young as you're starting to get your music out there. You can find hungry musicians that likely just moved here as well and are at the same point that you're at, where they have the talent. They're just looking for someone to play with.
Oh, yeah.
And then they all come together, and then you build your road family, and bro, it's sky's the limits from there.
Ben's great, because I called Ben. He's like, the first time you talked to him, he's like, you just sounded cool over the phone. I'm like, well, I'm glad I sound cool. So then we went and we rehearsed, and it was cool, and we played. Then we started writing, and I think that first night we played Whiskey Jam, I threw a pick at some girl. I started making jokes, and he was like, "That was the funnest whiskey jam I've ever played. Let's keep doing stuff." And so now I'm like, "Hey, we're going out on the road."
What was that first whiskey jam like? Because again, I'm not a musician. I'm not an artist. Where I've never played it, but from what I hear, it's like a quick sprint. You get up there, you play your 3 songs. You can't really hear yourself, but that's the beauty of it. It is an unpolished just jam and such an important staple here in town. Such a rite of passage. In fact, you got to do that a couple months into being in the town. Or when did you do?
20. I was in town for 26 days,
bro.
When I played,
that's huge.
It was awesome. It was so cool, but it was just, I was nervous, but I wasn't, because I don't usually get too nervous when I, play. But it was just like, this is Whiskey Jam.
You're in front of your peers.
Yeah.
It's not playing a cover gig in front of a bunch of drunk college kids at some bar or
right.
at a sorority house. You're playing in front of your peers, and you got a buzz going where it's like, who's this new guy that just moved to town? But once you get through that first song, it's got to be like, all right, we're here. We're doing this thing.
Nate Kenyon and his wife Brooke actually came and stood right where I could see them, and so I was looking around the room, and I'm like, I don't know anybody. Oh shit, hey Nate, and it was just I'd make contact with Nate every once in a while. Eye contact with him, but it was awesome, and Ward is absolutely great. It was so much fun.
I call him the Godfather.
The Godfather.
The Godfather is a guy who does events and stuff in town, If we were to call a meeting, if there were someone to call a meeting of the families, the different events in town, myself, Nikki T, Zeb with Why Not Wednesday, all the stuff that goes on, I feel like Ward would be our Don, our guy.
Totally.
So a couple other Nashville questions. Where have you found a favorite Mexican restaurant in Nashville yet? That's one thing I did not know as a New Yorker moving down here. I expected barbecue. I expected fried food. I expected the meat and 3 thing. I did not expect Mexican restaurants everywhere.
That's
that's a huge Southern
thing. I mean, any town you go to in the South that has a actual city, there's going to be.
Does Lumpkin have a Mexican restaurant?
Yeah, yeah.
Lumpkin's even got a Mexican restaurant.
They got a Mexican restaurant and a Dollar General, and then an old courthouse.
Things are booming.
Things are booming.
But what's your favorite spot here in town to grab some
probably
chips and queso?
Poncho. Is it Poncho and Lefties?
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, that place is good. There was another place I went that it was more towards Franklin. I don't remember the name of it, but it was good. So I don't eat out a ton. I try to cook a little bit.
You do the meal prep thing?
No, I don't do the meal prep. I need to start doing that. But no, I usually just find something and throw it. I live a quarter of a mile from a Kroger. So if I need something, I pull up in the Kroger and figure it out.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to late night? Or you don't go out a whole lot anymore, but
peanut M&Ms.
Oh, that's what I'm that too. McElwain can tell you when I'm driving the van with the guys. I'm going through them big. I get the share size, but I'm only sharing them with myself.
Oh, I get the one you can get it at Target for $15, and it's this huge.
Oh, you're
bag.
Going big.
Oh yeah,
big
and I have one of those cylinders, those glass cylinders that you put the top on, and you can just put food in it. And there's one that's dedicated to peanut M&Ms in my house,
shit.
and I'm one of those, my family was in town this past weekend, and my sister, I went and got groceries, and she was trying to put stuff up. She was trying to help me and be nice, but she poured a bunch of pretzels in there, and I'm like, listen, I love you, but you need to pour that shit out, because I'm kind of pissed right now. But yeah, peanut M&Ms, that's my go-to. And then I used to be a big Diet Coke drinker. Love Diet Coke.
I feel like that's a Southern thing. It just sounds right for a Southern man to say Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. Have you ever heard somebody's meemaw say it?
Oh, yeah.
Let me get a Diet Coke, honey. That's how my grandma got me hooked on it.
Go light on the ice, slide on the ice.
And so Diet Coke was big, but I've got off of it, which is good.
Getting off the soda is important. It's good.
And it was one of those things, I just woke up one morning, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to drink Diet Coke today. And I didn't. And I lost 7 pounds from not drinking Diet Coke, which you would think that, Diet Coke's going to help you lose weight. But it was, I don't know. Somebody told me there was aspartame and stuff in it, and it'll.
Weird shit.
Yeah.
You a tobacco guy at all?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah,
I was a big cigs guy for a long time. We're recently off. We're still nicotine guys. I used to call this my car cigarette because I couldn't smoke. Sometimes I would smoke in the van when the guys were all fucked up, passed out. And I can stink a Marlboro Light while driving the van. But now since I've been off them for a month, I'm like, God, I smelt like that for 6 years.
I don't smoke a ton of cigarettes. Now, when I get drunk, I'll smoke a cigarette.
Oh, drunk cigarettes are drunk. Those don't count.
Count. I wrote a song called "Drunk Cigs Don't Count," and I have a line in the song called "Anybody Want to Smoke a Marlboro?" Because I do right now. Because drunk cigs don't count. That's totally got to. I used to say that all the time in college, and so, but I mean, the amount of times that I just ripped the heater off of somebody's mom that was in town for Parents Weekend,
dude,
I've got multiple pictures of me just ripping one off of
hey, Tim,
Melinda over here.
Hey, Linda, let me get that.
I mean, but no, so my dad dipped Grizzly wintergreen pouches my entire life, and then I got older, and then our neighbors were, they were doing damn Levi Garrett. And I had a football coach, shout out to him, Jay Bracewell. He's this big, larger-than-life guy. He was we called him Water Boy. But he was like kind of the manager. He was like 50 years old as a water boy. But he would keep in his back pocket this gallon-sized Ziploc bag of like chewing gum, bubble gum. And what's the ones that come in the yellow? I don't know. Is it Double Bubble?
Hubba Bubba.
Hubba Bubba. And he would also keep down in there his bag of Levi Garrett chewing tobacco. And he'd start sweating because, it's the summer in Georgia, and all that shit would get together. So we're all 13 years old chewing bubble gum before practice, buzzed off our ass at 13. And I think that's why everybody I went to high school with us we all chew tobacco because we started at 13 chewing bubble gum, and that's how we got our damn nicotine fix. And I think he found out because some people couldn't handle it and they threw up, and he started keeping them in separate. We're like, hey, there's some of us that want you to keep them in the same bag, Jay. But yeah, I'm a Copenhagen mint long cut.
For me, Copenhagen. I remember when Copenhagen mint first came out because I went to college in New Jersey. We didn't have the tobacco access and the pricing. It was like, so we were dipping a lot of Stokers in college. We'd get them big tubs and split them amongst everybody and just be pulling out. It looks like fucking brownie mix. Like it's just fucking long. You can see the shine of the little glass pieces that are in it. Them $10 Stoker tubs. See, Trey is like a fruity dipper. He dips Skull Peach, Skull Cherry. Skull Cherry tastes like damn cough medicine. But I got into it recently from just being out with him. McElwain's a dedicated Copenhagen mint pouches, and before that he was Skull Extra Mint with that extra nicotine in it. You ever done the Gaps? You ever seen those? So it's like a pouch, but it's like this big, like it's like a circle almost. Like it's like feels like it's like wide. What is it, man? When is it Gaps or Wide Cut or something weird? I think Grizzly or Copenhagen do it, but
I haven't done that one. And I love to smoke cigars.
You're a big cigar guy, bro. Bro, I've actually got my travel humidor in my backpack, so So there's a company that you got to play. We got to get you on Rowdy on the Row at Live Oak. So Crowned Head Cigars. It's raised.
I've got some of those in my house. I play somewhere.
So me and Nicky T, who runs Raised Rowdy, I call him Uncle Nick. We're like family, and we go over to Smokers Abbey usually once or twice a week. Nick has a locker over there that he splits with our buddy Kurt, and we go over there and smoke cigars like all the time. Like I got a humidor of about probably 30, 40 sticks. My dad for Christmas sent me down a thing of cigars. I sent him up a box of cigars from Tennessee, sent me down a box from New Hampshire. Cigars for me are like, I've been smoking cigars with my dad before I was drinking beer.
Yeah, no, I was smoking cigars when I was like 15, 16 years old, which was crazy. But yeah, and we used to, before that, when we couldn't get our nicotine fix, we would go to I had a friend, I won't name him because his parents are devout Christians, but the dad the dad used to smoke cigars, and so we'd go to the humidor and we'd take them out, and we didn't know how to damn light that shit because we were, teenagers, and we didn't know what a cigar was really, and we would chew the end off of it, and we'd suck the tobacco juice out of it, that's the bottom of the bottom.
That's
terrible.
That's the Milledgeville
that's that
teenager.
White trash heinous stuff that we used to do, but it is what it is. But no, I love a cigar.
Yeah, well, let's grab a cigar sometime for sure, dude.
I'd love to smoke a cigar.
That'd be badass, man. I'm a big fan of that. So for this year, you got the Meg Moroney tour. I'm sure you've got quite a bit of music coming out. Sounds like you got some stuff in the tank. When are we thinking some new music could be on the way?
One coming out in February. It's called After All. Jonathan Singleton is producing it.
Dude, dude, let's go. That's huge.
Jonathan is awesome.
I don't know if you realize how big Jonathan is. The man.
He's
talk about just an absolute legend, just incredible human, and musical guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, so after all, and then we've got some other stuff. We're gonna put out some more stuff before tour. It's just kind of got to the point that we're trying to pick, the best song and what we want to go play on tour. And then after that, we got some more stuff coming out during the summer, and
let's go.
We got a little duet that we wrote that we're trying to lock down a duet partner with. So it's gonna be a big year, but it's kind of one of those things that's funny because we have everything kind of planned up until the end of April, and then it's like, God only knows where it's going to go.
Or something could pop up just because, like, this industry is so unpredictable where good things can just pop up out of nowhere, dude. But, hey, keep doing what you're fucking doing, man. I'm glad we got to do this podcast and look forward to smoking a cigar and having you on the round and kicking it with you here in town, man.
Let's do it.
And congrats on moving up here, too, dude. The hardest part is getting here. And then once you get here, you get your feet going. And if you really want to do this thing, the opportunities are endless. So.
It's
awesome.
been fun. Thank you for having me.
Hey, and shout out to your manager, the man behind the camera.
Yeah.
Real quick, how'd you meet Jake? I know he's a UGA guy as well.
I got an Instagram DM from him. I had posted some stuff on TikTok, and he had seen it, and he was like, "Hey, let's go get drinks one night when I moved to Athens." And so we had tried to, and then it fell through, and then something came up, and I think it was probably like 5 months later, both of us underage sitting in a bar in Athens and having a drink, and it's kind of been, we were literally finishing each other's sentences the night we met each other, and I'm like, okay, this is good. So we kind of took off from there, and my uncle Barry managed me for a couple months, and then he was like, all right, so I'm gonna let you kind of go do your thing. And the first phone call I made was to Jake, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, nothing. I'm like, okay, so you're my new manager, kind of, and I have a song that's got to come out in like 2 weeks, so let's do it. And so we just, after that, we just took off. So it's been a foot race since then. So
hell yeah, dude. It's important to have good people in your corner. And
it is.
I'm excited to see what you two are going to be doing here.
It's fun having somebody your age, too, that you can go out on
someone
the road with
your age that you guys met having a beer in Athens, and now you're up here in Nashville doing the damn thing. It's exciting, and a lot of cool stuff coming in your future.
Literally living the dream.
Where can people go to find you on all the socials and all that shit?
So it's real Logan Crosby.
Because there's fake. Do you have fake accounts out there? Have fake ones started popping up yet?
I had a couple ones, and then now I've got like this one account on TikTok. It's like Logan Crosby. That's all it is, and they edit all these different they make these edits. I don't know, it's real weird, but I follow them because why not,
Yeah, I've recently started getting fake Matt Burrill accounts, and they're DMing people, and all my friends.
Oh, that was a big thing.
That's just starting for me now. And it's like, dude, I'm not shit. I host a podcast. I'm not an artist or nothing.
Don't say you ain't shit.
Well, not that, but I'm saying, why would you make a fake account of me? Like, you're not getting anything.
Well, that's what I said when I had like 20,000 followers on TikTok. I'm like, well, somebody making a fake account of me, and then people were sending it to me. And then it started getting bigger, and then it was the Instagrams, and it was like, the only real Logan Crosby DMing somebody, and everything's misspelled, and it's like, if you want to get tickets to my show, wire me $1,000, and I'm like, so that's not happening.
Yeah, we've seen that happen with Trey too, asking for money for meet and greets, and it's like, no, we do a free meet and greet.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, ain't no, don't pay me no damn.
Look for the check mark, guys.
Yeah, that's
the
thing.
You'll know if it's Logan, but the real Logan Crosby on all the accounts. Music's on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Big tour coming up with our girl Meg Moroney, and look forward to hanging out with you more in Nashville, buddy.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you coming on. Thank you guys for watching the In the Round podcast. Shout out to our friends at Whaletail Media, Saxman Studios, our boy Mitch Wallis with The Digital Marketing Agency, and of course our friends at Pickle Jar Live. Use promo code ITR when signing up. Pickle Jar Live, the world's biggest tip jar. Be sure to check out our boy Logan Crosby. Go see him on the road. Go check out the music and support him. We love him here at In the Round podcast. Happy to have him. And be sure to rate, subscribe the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Till next time, for Sweet Boy behind the camera, y'all have a good one. This has been the In the Round podcast. Cool.